fight than people think? What if it's an easier fight than what people think? What if Terence Crawford goes out there and makes it look easy against Errol Spence Jr.? What if Errol Spence Jr. goes out there and does the impossible and makes it look easy against Terence Bud Crawford? What if Terence Crawford decides to box Errol Spence Jr. on July 29th? What if Bud Crawford pulls off a British Prescott performance or a Victor Postal-like performance? Right? It's two of Crawford's biggest fights of his career. He played the boxing game. When I say British Prescott big fight, yeah, it was his big moment. So he played it, I guess you would say, safer than what we are probably used to seeing Crawford more recently, right? But what if he employs those game plans against Errol Spence Jr. July 29th? Will Errol Spence Jr. boxing ability be enough? Right? Errol Spence, last time we seen him box, I guess you could say. I guess he always boxes, but really just, well, shit. Errol Spence been going to the decision for his past, I don't know, quite a few fights he's been going to the decision, but Errol Spence boxing ability. One thing I noticed, and this is all if this version of Spence shows up, right? Even though he's there to be hit, right? He's there to be hit. Mikey's not pulling the trigger on anything. He's not letting it go. But Spence is relentless, right? Crazy output. He's not stopping. This is what? The 9th round, I believe. Yeah, 9th round. Spence is non-stop go, right? Now, that's good against a guy like Mikey, right? But against a guy like Crawford, who will see a lot of openings in your game, what you gonna do, bro? Like, if Spence decides to play this approach with Bud, right? And this is likely a scenario that's going to happen in a fight where Spence is pressing Bud, throwing a lot of punches. Who knows, right? He may then respect Mikey like that, though, right? He may not have respected Mikey like he may respect Terence Crawford. So he may not even rush Bud like that. Why? Because he had to worry about the reach. He had to worry about the counter punching. He got to worry about a lot more things with Terence Crawford than he would with Mikey Garcia. But Errol Spence Jr. is totally relentless. Non-stop go. Not too much power on these shots, but Spence is one of those dudes that can still hit you hard without really winding up too much, right? Mikey's not really mounting too much offense at all. Now, prior to this, Mikey Garcia was on a hot streak. He was looking good against Broner and Robert Easter Jr., Bunny. You know what I'm saying? Looking to see Bunny back soon. But Mikey, I mean, ain't do nothing in this fight. He was a potato. Against Terence Bud Crawford, I don't think it will be such a thing. Now, if Crawford decides to box like he did in that Victor Postal fight years ago, if Bud Crawford decides to box, it could be a very easy fight for Terence Bud Crawford. Now, I don't think Errol Spence's style, this boxing approach that Spence used on Mikey, I don't think that'll be too effective against Terence Bud Crawford. I don't think that'll be effective at all. He's just too in front of Bud. Bud is a guy you don't really want to be, you just don't want to do that. You don't want to carry that approach with a guy like Terence Crawford. He's just going to be countering you. He's going to figure it out. You just too much there, right? And check this out real quick. Back in 2016, Crawford working on his defense as he prepares for the toughest test of his career. Now, mind you, this is the Postal fight when he applied his boxing skills. Really applied them. And right here, and I remember this time, some of you guys may be new to boxing, but Victor Postal was supposed to be a guy that was supposed to be Terence Crawford's toughest test of his career. All these guys were supposed to be Crawford's toughest test, And then once Bud Crawford got in the ring and beat these dudes, oh, well, they was never no good anyway. They even doing it to guys like Sean Porter. Will they do it with Errol Spence? I hope not. Right? I hope they don't do that shit with Errol Spence. But what if it's an easier fight than what people expect? This is something that Bomac said some years ago, right? He said this fight will be easier than what people expect. This was some years ago.
With the fight with Earl, it'd be an easier fight than what people would expect. Because doing training or doing like downtime or when you're just in the gym, we're constantly working on stuff.
Uh-huh.
You're constantly working on stuff. Just to get better. You'll go back and look at a couple fights. Look at a couple fights that he had and say, man, we're kind of still doing this a little bit, or we're kind of still doing that a little bit. So let's work on this. Let's work on that. And then when it's time to when the opponent gets named, when he finally get an opponent, certain things you work on for that opponent. But all the other one-on-one boxing, you're constantly working on that. Constantly working on him getting better. That's downtime. That's time that's in the gym. And so when the opponent get named, you start like crafting the craft. You know what I'm saying?
I look at
Bud Crawford really loves boxing. He's always working. He's always trying to get better. You know what I'm saying? How much do Spence love boxing? That's another thing that people got to look at. How much do Spence really want it? I think Spence wants it, but Terence Crawford truly lives the lifestyle of you could damn near say like a martial artist. You could damn near say, well, boxing is pretty much a martial art anyway, but Bud is like a martial artist, always training. Like, you know what I'm saying? That guy, he's always training.
Terence Crawford and also Errol Spence as like throwbacks from the old days. Time has changed. We're moving up to it's 2020, whatever it is. But those two guys, they got that look in their eye from the old days. You feel that too?
I feel it for Terence, but I don't feel it for Errol because of the simple fact that he's predictable in his with his boxing game.
Ooh, I mean, this was a while ago when Bomac said this, and we've been hearing Bomac say this over the years. I didn't hear this particular interview, but that's true. One thing I noticed about Spence, way before this even started, while I was a big fan, I felt like I needed to see more. I felt like I needed to see more. Like, I felt like I needed to see more. I don't know. It was just something. I felt like I needed to see more. And I still kind of feel like that today. But this fight with Terence Crawford is going to answer everybody's questions. Only thing I'm not looking for is some controversy. I want this to be a straight up fight where the best man truly wins.
And he does the same thing over and over and over again. So you can over and over and over again. And with his boxing game, he does the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's another thing. See, everybody's screaming out man down and all this, but when we really look at these two fighters, man, despite the strengths and weaknesses they both have, Errol Spence is a guy who does the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Will that predictable approach work against Terence Crawford? Will that work against a guy who could just out of nowhere start boxing you? A guy that could he could be fighting you 1 minute, next minute he's on the back foot boxing you. He's faster than you, he's hitting you, he's changing up the game plan, he's making you reset, he's catching you off balance. One thing I also noticed about Errol Spence, he does it a lot in fights, man. He's been able to get away with it with these guys he's been in there with. But he really lunges. He really lunges when he punches. Somebody had the video of him actually doing it. I don't know if I can find it right now, but he really lunges when he punches, man. He cannot afford to do it. He may even do it in this clip with Mikey, but he may even do it in this clip. But he's right up on the pocket on Mikey. So Mikey got to do is throw his hands and he can hit Spence, but he ain't throwing no punches. But I seen him do it against Ugas and other fighters like that right there. That like he really like he can't be lazy. Spence is real lazy with his punches at times too. He can't do none of this stuff with Terence Bud Crawford, bro. It works. It worked against those guys. This was a young Spence, you know. But it worked against those dudes. But I don't think that'll work against Bud, man. I don't think that'll work.
You can pretty much, you know, as a trainer with a good eye, you can pretty much, you know, tell what he's going to do at a certain time, or certain punches he's going to throw, or how he's going to move, and when he's going to move. So you know that's predictable, but you can't get that with Terence. You know, Terence might switch southpaw on you in the middle of a combination, and then hurt you, and then walk you down orthodox, and then finish you southpaw. So you can't get that. You know, now the only person that ever done that I know of was Marvin Hagler. And, you know, a lot of guys these days, you'll maybe catch one or two guys that like that now, but definitely one guy like that is Terence.
Predictability. I think that's going to be another thing in this fight. Is the predictability factor. One guy, we know what he's likely going to do. And he does it very well. Another guy, we don't know what he's going to do. But he does that well. So, predictability, man. Errol Spence is a very predictable fighter. Maybe that's the reason why I feel like I need to see more over the years. Like, he just, like, I see him doing the same stuff. You know, but that's just who he is as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? That's who he is as a fighter now. Will that approach work against a guy like Terence Crawford? I don't know. What if Bud Crawford decides to box is my big question. What if Bud Crawford decides to box like he did against Victor Postal, British Prescott, whoever else, you know, he boxed. Errol Spence comes out hot, which he said he's going to big step to him. Spence going to have to be on point. None of this sloppy, lunging forward stuff, leaning forward. You got to be snappy with your punches, bro. You got to be snappy with your punches. Crawford's going to be looking to counter you. Great fight, great matchup. I love talking about it. But like I said, man, my opinion still remains the same. I got Terence Bud Crawford beating Errol Spence within 10 rounds. This fight won't go past 10 rounds. I don't see it going past 10 rounds. I got Terence Bud Crawford getting his hand raised. I just feel like he's the more... I've seen a lot of Terence Crawford. I've seen a lot of his fights. I've seen a lot of what he can do. I've seen him under adversity. I've seen him hurt. Only thing I haven't seen was the big names, but I mean, he fought some names, but now they don't mean nothing. And that's been a story of Terence Crawford's career. You know, big fight this. Gamboa was supposed to be a big fight for him. Nobody knew who was going to win that fight. You know, British Prescott, nobody knew Bud was going to win that fight for real. This dude was an Colombian Olympic caliber puncher. You know, he fought a ton of Olympic caliber fighters and he beat all these guys. So it may not be as popular as some of the guys that Spence shared the ring with, but shit. You know? So I've seen a lot of Terence Crawford. I've seen him do a lot of different things in the ring. I've seen him box. I've seen him fight. I've seen him beat a bully. I never seen him get bullied. I've seen a lot of Terence Crawford in the ring, man. He showed me a lot. So that's why I got him winning this fight. Not to mention he's the more disciplined fighter. He's always training and everything else. But yeah, you guys, predictability, right? Errol Spence is pretty predictable. Is it too late in the game for him to change it up now? Right? Is it too late in the game for him to surprise Terence Bud Crawford? Hey, look, Frank Martin said Errol Spence is hungry. Frank Martin said Errol Spence been ready. Frank Martin said that Errol Spence has been training around since the Rivera fight. He helped him prepare for the Rivera fight. So Spence been training. So we're going to see what kind of game plan they come up with. We're going to continue to talk about it. This is our favorite topic. This is our favorite fight. We can't wait to see it. Errol the Truth, Big Fish, Spence Jr. versus Terence Bud Crawford. What you guys think? Will Errol Spence's predictability be his downfall in this fight. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.